Getting a tight low end is something that a lot of people struggle with. And the reality is that if you don't get that good relationship between the bass and the kick, it's going to be hard to end up with a tight and a balanced low end. So in this video, I want to share with you a simple trick so you can get a good relationship between the kick and the bass, so you can be on your way to a tight low end. Hey, what's going on, my friend? Chris Lim here from Mixdown Online. Now, before we start this one up, if you want to speed up your mixing workflow, I'm going to encourage you to take my free workshop on how to build the perfect mix template. In this workshop, I show you everything you need to know about building your own mix template by showing you what I did on my side. So I show you the exact mix template that I work with every time I mix a song. And if you're a CUBASE user, you can also download the free CUBASE mix template session for you to base yourself on to create your own mix template. Okay, so check it out. The link is down below. Okay, now let's jump right into it and look at what we have with this very cool trick to get the right balance and relationship between the kick and the bass, which is something very important if you want to end up and go towards getting a tight low end. I learned this one from master mixing engineer Jacquire King, that you probably heard of. The guy's an amazing mix engineer, one of my favorite on my end. And you know, I've been watching one of his videos years ago, and he was sharing that technique, which I actually found very interesting. And from that point on, I started to implement that into my mixes, and it actually works very well. So I thought of just sharing that with you. All right, so let's jump in CUBASE and check this out. So first, I'm gonna just open a VU meter that I'm gonna insert straight on the control room. Now, if you don't have the control room, which is part of CUBASE Pro, you can just insert that VU meter on your master output, okay, your mix bus basically. It's going to do the same thing. And the idea is to get an extra 3 dB VU or so when both are playing together. Now, the reason Jacquire uses a VU meter for that matter is because VU meters are sensitive to low frequencies, and the kick and the bass are low frequency instruments. All right, so let's start by listening to the kick drum, and what I'm going to try to do here is to aim minus 3 dB on my VU meter. Now, it doesn't matter if you don't end up at, specifically minus 3 dB. It could be minus 7, minus 5. It doesn't matter. What matters is the difference between the two when the two are going to be playing together. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, so the VU meter peaks at minus 3 when the kick drum is playing, and if I add the bass on top of that, I should get, if it's well balanced, I should get around 0 VU, which is 3 dB louder. Okay, so that's good. I just needed to rebalance and increase the level of the bass so I can end up at around 0 VU. So I have an extra 3 dB that was added once the bass was in the mix, basically. So let's listen in the context of the mix what it sounds like. This is where I'm going to get a good relationship between the kick and the bass. Now, this is not a rule whatsoever, but more a guideline, or something you can start with, and then you can balance that out with the rest of the mix. This is something you can do when you're working on a balance or a static mix before you start diving into the mixing stage. And it's also something you can do while you're mixing near the end of the mix. Like right now, my VU meter, like I said, is at the end of the chain after all the mix bus processing, the instrument channel processing also, and all individual tracks processing. So there you go. I think the balance sounds right, and it's a very simple trick, but it works very well. Again, it's not a rule, it's a guideline, a starting point to get towards a tighter low end. Once you have that relationship between the kick and the bass right, it's going to be easier to get to a tighter low end. You know, you can then start to work on frequency balance between the instruments and the bass instruments and so on. And this way you're going to end up to a very tight, full and balanced low end. Leave your comments and questions down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Share and like if you enjoyed this video. And until next time, take care and see you.